so how do you drive in these foggy conditions? Trying to get where you need to go and do it safe can be a challenge when it's like this.
Yeah, this morning, our crime and safety expert, Darnell Blackburn, back joining us to talk about just some of the tips that you've seen and that you know about. I mean, I keep thinking about when you were a police officer, you had, and I'm thinking of a mid-Michigan one, we've seen a lot of pileups that get caused by fog in this area. When you break it down, what's like the #1 thing you advise when people need to drive in the fog?
Make sure your headlights are on.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're driving with your headlights, but not your high beams. We were just talking about that earlier.
That was my experience because my car is always set to the auto on the high beam, so they just come on automatically when there's no other cars around. And that happened to me as soon as I got started this morning, and I was like, whoa, because then I really couldn't see.
And sometimes you can't tell which one's more effective. You go, is that...
Right.
Turn on
I
high
can tell
beam and
you
they're
right now,
no, low beam,
not,
yes.
it's not the high beam.
Right. It's not, no. No, if you have fog lights, you can use your fog lights. That would be helpful, but definitely not the high beams because you'll get the reflection back in your face.
Right.
You know. Also, make sure that you leave extra space. Just like when you're driving in the snow, leave some extra space so you can stop because Kim's been talking about it all morning. You know, those accidents will just pop up out of nowhere.
I'll tell you though, sometimes you feel a little bit more comfortable when you actually see that there is a car ahead of you. Like you just want to be able to see the taillights even a little bit. It just gives you some comfort because it's so, the visibility is so low, but not too close.
Not too close. You do want to see those taillights, but you don't want to be right up on the taillights.
Right.
And the other thing is if it's super thick, you want to make sure that you have your hazards on so people can see you. So they can see you from just a little further than just your taillight. So that would be something that would really help as you're driving.
I saw somebody doing that this morning that was doing the right thing, keeping their hazards on, so which a lot of people do if traffic slowed down anyway. But the other thing too, when people get it, when it gets real thick, a couple times with Nick, especially that last one, sometimes you can't catch the middle line or the right line. It's tough to realize where you are on the road, which can, what's the best course of action there?
The best thing to do is to try to stay to the right lane and try to gauge it by using those right lines, the lines on the right of the roadway, because you can't see the brakes in the middle line make it more difficult to see those.
The solid white line.
The solid white line, or if you're on the left, you know, the solid left. But the solid lines are what are better to follow than to try to ride the center lane because it can be dangerous for you.
Yep, and we've seen it out there today. There's a good look. That's a live look right now. So a couple spots look better than others, and we've kind of touched on that too, DB. That you know, it might look great for 1 second, all of a sudden you hit a big cloud of that, a dip in the road where it sits lower and you're in trouble.
Yep, always got to. That's why it's so important to leave space. Just as if you need to do that every time you're driving. Just leave space. You should as you're driving.
Out there.
Yeah, you should. But the space is the biggest thing, and making sure that you leave in enough time. Like, you know.
The other thing, I mean, you should never be distracted when you're driving, but we know some people are. The kids are in the back or whatever, but you really just have to focus because as Kim's been talking about all morning, something can dart out, it can be an accident, and you're not going to have that lead time like you normally would when you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to focus in stormy weather, in foggy weather, in every aspect. Just no texting. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. But also just even looking down at the radio and all that kind of stuff. Just make sure you focus on the roadway.
We appreciate your insight, and it's good to have you part of the team,
Good to be here. Good to be here.
The bow tie plays.
I'm learning from this guy.
Love it.
It's a great look.
We're going to see a lot more of him, too, along the way.